Okay, so welcome back to the channel. First thing I want to talk about is in the coin script. I forgot to mention I added this script check if the body's interacting with the player, then delete. If we get rid of this with the current setup and run the game, coins that are touching the ground disappear. So that's another thing we need to change. Go into the base level script, and I'm going to change it to they spawn 10 units instead of 11. So if we run this, now the coins are slightly above the floor. So that's fine, but also let's go back in and add this. I still want to have it check in, make sure only the player is allowed to get rid of the coin. You can also do that by setting up the collision layers that not here, where's collision, just changing it so like you have layer 2 set for only picking up coins and stuff like that for the player. But I want to focus on, we'll add more of this probably later once we start getting more objects that need to collide with the player and other objects in the game. Now with that out of the way, let's go in and I believe there was one more thing we need to go into the player. Change, we're going to get rid of this light ocular and rescale this. And we're going to add this again, but this time make sure we do it once this is still full size. Just for when we scale it up and down, if we need to scale it individually, we can have it this exact same size. And now let's go in here and do that. And same with the collision shape here. I'm going to change the extends here to be 8 by 8. And then we're just going to scale it. So it's going to be easier to animate this object. Now let's go to the coin. We're going to start adding an animation player. This animation, we're going to have two animations right now. We're going to have one called float. This is going to click this button here to autoplay and load. And we're going to have this set for, I believe, probably 1 second. And all we're going to do is take the sprite, keyframe it here, and keyframe the collision shape position. And then like halfway through, we're going to make it go up. -4. That's for the collision shape, and also for the sprite, we got to go up. Not here, -4. And then at the end, we're just going to go back to the original position. There we go. And let's now test this, make sure it's working. Okay, that looks pretty nice. So now we want to go in and make a pickup animation for the coin. Let's do a new animation. We're going to call this one pickup. And before we go in any further, let's go to the node inspector here and animation finished. Touch the coin. And now we're going to check if anim name equals pick up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do self.queueFree. But here we're going to go in and call animation player.play pickup. So basically it's going to make sure the whole animation finishes, and then we're going to delete it. So with that out of the way, let's go in, and I think we're going to want something about only half a second for the animation. We're going to go in, set the inspector. Let's go in and set the position first. And then at the end, we're going to go up 16 units. We're not going to bother changing the collision shape because the coin is going to disappear. But if you were doing something else with the coin, you might want to move the collision shape as well. But for this, we're not going to bother. Next, what we're going to do is go back to original position, and I'm going to keyframe the rotation here. And at the end, I'm going to have it rotate 360. I don't need it to rotate a full 360 degrees. This should probably look fine. And last but not least, we need to go in and change the scale. So I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make it go back to its 1 by 1. So it's going to basically pop, make it the coin bigger. And then at the end, we're going to make it very tiny with a 0.1 by 0.1. That should be fine. Let's go here and just make sure everything's okay. Let's make sure this coin's, why does it always do that? There. And let's run that. And that looks fine. Let's pick it up and you got a nice pickup animation. So that's out of the way. We got a nice pickup animation. Let's start adding some of the animations for the player. I'm gonna first add animation player. And we're gonna create first idle animation. And we're gonna have this one just autoplay and load just because it's probably gonna be the first animation you see once you start the game. And let's see, I think 1 second should probably be fine. So we're just gonna be taking a sprite, taking a scale of the sprite and like over a second. Let's go in and try something like make it maybe a little bit thinner and a little bit higher, see how that looks. Let's try playing that, see how that looks. That doesn't look that great. Maybe move this and maybe change it. So here we go back to the original size. Let's try playing that, see if that looks better. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Let's click play and see how that looks. Well, it looks not bad, but it looks a little bit wonky. I'll keep that for now. Actually, let's check what the original idle animation I did for this looks like. Scale. Okay, so I went out a little bit. So let's see how that looks maybe. So instead we did 0.55. Does that look a little bit better? Let's play that. Maybe that looks a little bit better. We'll keep that then, I guess. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now what we're going to want to add is some more. Actually, I noticed also I added set the rotation back to 0. I think that might be just in case to make sure nothing gets changed. And let's also make sure the collision shape updates with this as well, because we don't want to have an object trying to collide with this and it's gonna not detect it because the collision shape isn't updating with it. So with that out of the way, well, that looks better. I think that's gonna be it. I'm gonna add the jump and lean in other animations later. I want to start adding some actual state machines so I can change state from going from idle state to jump in state and other stuff. So I think that's gonna be it for today. I'll see you guys next week.